Hey guys, by Austin Ramos, and this beautiful Sunday NFL football returns. Kicked off Thursday Night Football with the Detroit Lions handing the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs their first loss of the opening game in forever. I mean, what a game! What a game! And that's just the tip of the iceberg because we have a full slate of Sunday football and then cap it off with Monday Night Football the following day. So it's gonna be a great first week of NFL season. Some matchups better than the others. Can I say it? I will say it. But there's a lot of good matchups. Everyone has the same record, 0-0. So that's great. You know who my favorite matchup is, and it's the Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Guys, it's time. This season, the Miami Dolphins have a lot of aspirations. Some may say title aspirations. I have a bit of those for this Miami Dolphins team, but there's going to be a lot of growing pain. And listen, there's not going to be another team like the 72 Dolphins. It's going to be so absurd if another team goes undefeated, especially with, 17 regular season games. Then following that, you have to win 3 straight games to win the Super Bowl to cap off a perfect season at 20-0. I think it's unfathomable. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. And if it does, kudos to that team. But there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be losses here and there. Do the Miami Dolphins start the season off with a loss? Personally, I think no way. No way. But I'm pretty sure the Chargers are possibly thinking the same exact thing. There's no way we lose week 1 against the Miami Dolphins, blah, blah, blah. The whole Tua versus Herbert debate and whatever you want to call it, that's the talk, you know? Both of these teams do have title aspirations. The Chargers, just like Dolphins, made the playoffs last year. They both lost in the wild card round. One had a collapse, and the other had a surprising performance. So I don't know the other word I would have probably said, but it was a surprising performance by the Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Chargers fell flat on their face after being up 27-0, I believe at halftime. Either way, was not the best look for them. Now, there's a couple injuries that we got to go through. Now, with this season, I'm not going to repeat a lot of these injuries if they're repeating throughout the season. But at least for the other teams that we're facing, if they're not anything within the past week or two, or if there's no update on a player that's been injured for a while, I won't mention them. So excuse me if I miss a couple guys here and there in the future. But for right now, fresh slate. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. So we have Elijah Campbell, safety, listed as out with a knee injury. And then we have Julian Hill, tight end, questionable with an ankle injury. This is probably one of the bigger ones that hurt us recently, which is Teron Armstead, offensive tackle. He is out with a leg injury. Let's hope that he can come back as soon as possible. He went down in training camp, joint practices against the Houston Texans, and the hope was that he can come back for week 1. That's not the case. It's unfortunate. But if this prolongs and keeps on going, then this is not going to be great for the Miami Dolphins. This is one of the best offensive linemen in the entire NFL. And with a lot of the scrutiny of what happened last year to our numero uno, definitely want some of the best linemen in the NFL out on your fields for you. Let's keep it going. Justin Bethel, cornerback, listed as questionable. Robert Jones, guard, on injured reserve after suffering a MCL sprain. Hope to have him back in 4 to 6 weeks. Jeff Wilson Jr., running back, is on injured reserve with a knee injury. He's able to come back by week 5, and that is the hope. And then some training camp injuries that carried into this year. Jalen Ramsey, cornerback, on injured reserve with a knee injury. He suffered an injury in the training camp. Nick Needham, out, cornerback. He is listed with his Achilles injury. He's still recovering from it. Hopefully all is well on that front and moving forward, but unfortunately he's not able to play currently. He's on the reserve/pup list. And then last but not least, Keon Crossing, cornerback, on injured reserve with an undisclosed injury, and he's on injured reserve. I think that's more so a roster move, so the Dolphins could have kept him at least on the roster because wouldn't really wanted to risk putting him on the practice squad and being able to be taken by other NFL teams. For the Los Angeles Chargers, we have Chris Rumph, the second linebacker, listed as doubtful with a hamstring injury. Same injury for Dylan Henley, linebacker as well. He's also listed as doubtful. And then guys who are confirmed out / on injured reserve. Ameki Uzdima, cornerback on injured reserve, undisclosed injury. Otto Agbonia, defensive tackle. He's with a kneecap injury. He's listed as out on the injured / reserve list. Jalen Guyton, wide receiver, listed as out with a knee injury. Same type of thing, reserve / pup. And then Andrew Trainer, offensive tackle on injured reserve with a undisclosed injury. Yeah. I haven't said it yet, but kickoff is at 4:25 Eastern Standard Time. Game will be broadcasted on CBS. My Los Angeles Chargers are favored by 3 points, and over-under set at 50.5. Weather doesn't really matter because they're in SoFi Stadium, but because it is a open / domed concept, 74 degrees game time. It's going to be a little bit cloudy, so there's that. In terms of standings, everyone is tied for first and tied for fourth in the AFC East. Different scenario in the AFC West. Everyone is tied for first / third in the AFC West, except for the Kansas City Chiefs, who are in fourth currently. But they're going to have some company unless there's a tie between Las Vegas and Denver. So someone between those two teams is going to drop down with the Kansas City Chiefs. And will probably be the sole leader of the AFC West should the Dolphins do the business and get a win against this Los Angeles Chargers. Now, how do the Miami Dolphins get a win against this Los Angeles Chargers team? A couple things. One is the receivers need to get off the line and get open immediately because, Tua's not going to have a lot of time to throw. And that's unfortunate. You have a team that has aspirations to possibly win a title, and their offensive line is pretty shaky. Pretty shaky. And then run the ball efficiently. Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Savon Ahmed. Those are the guys I'm expecting to get some carries today. Possibly, I believe it's Christian Brooks, the undrafted rookie that made his way onto the 53-man roster. Kudos to him. I liked his play in the preseason. Those guys are going to have to run it very efficiently because they're not going to get a lot of runs, but that was something that was a catalyst to this Miami Dolphins season last year is not the inability to run, but more so the unwillingness. I get it. You have phenomenal guys in the passing game, but running the football is an important part of the NFL. If you can't run, you're not going to win. And teams like the Dolphins who want to win got to be more efficient with running the ball more, etc. And defensively, they have some studs at wide receiver as well. They have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and don't forget Quentin Johnson, who's pretty much the mold for the Los Angeles Chargers receivers. Big dudes, fast, and can go up and get a ball because their quarterback can't get it to them. Correct me, no, I'm kidding. Justin Herbert's a pretty good quarterback, but I definitely take my guy over him for sure. And then contain the run game. Dolphins need to contain their run because they have one of the better running backs in the entire NFL in Austin Eckler. And he is the heart and soul of that offense, whether Los Angeles Chargers fans wants to admit it or not. It's not Justin Herbert. It is Austin Eckler. They go as he goes. If he's having a bad running game, more than likely they're having a bad offensive game in general. So Dolphins really need to limit Austin Eckler as much as possible if they want to have an efficient game defensively. And I already said offensively, just prioritize getting a run game going, and the wide receivers can't be getting jammed at the line of scrimmage as much as they were in this last year's matchup where the Chargers pretty much not laid out the blueprint, but they followed the blueprint that the San Francisco 49ers set out, which is jam the receivers and, slow them off of the line. And, you'll allow the pressure to get to Tua, which is something that's going to be very important this season. A lot of shit happened last year, and he missed a lot of games. And this is pretty much the Miami Dolphins offense right here. You can't see Jalen Waddle too well. I'll turn it a little bit. can't see him too well. Let's see if there's that. Yeah, you can still see Tyreek too. But his head shakes. His head shakes, but not his. Came with a little bit of a styrofoam type of little wrap around his neck. It came around all three of them, for full disclosure. I didn't take it off of Tua's. You know what happened last year. I'm not going to take it off until he plays at least 12 games. If he can play at least 12 games, then that'll be that's my benchmark for him. He has to play at least 12 games this season. And, you know, missing 5 games is a lot. So that's pretty standard of like where I should probably put it. I would love to put it at 17, but let's not be foolish either. You know, Tua's dealt with a lot of injuries throughout the years as being a Dolphins quarterback, but none like last year. That's unprecedented. So it's a big factor. So having a guy like Teron Armstead out is not favorable in the Dolphins' chances of winning the game, but it is what it is. Covered a lot of stuff. I wish I could go into more detail, but we're getting closer and closer to game time, so I just want to put something out there for you guys to be able to watch before the game. And yeah, kickoff 4:25 Eastern Standard Time. Game's in LA, and it will be broadcasted on CBS. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And last but not least, I want to put a score prediction out there. Miami Dolphins 28, Los Angeles Chargers 23. They win by 5 points, and it's going to be a close game, a bit of a shootout at some point, and then it's going to be a defensive standoff. And that's pretty much it. Hoping that the addition of Vic Fangio as the Dolphins defensive coordinator will be hugely beneficial. Trust me, I want to go fully into this roster, but I want things to play out, and I want to talk about whether guys are performing to where I expect them to be, or if they're going better than that or worse. So with that being said, that's pretty much the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you after the game. Peace.